Yes, they lied to you. Manifesting anything that you desire is easier than you think. You can have them like everyone else. You can achieve your desires by applying the principles of Neville Goddard. It is not like you have to trek on a mountain on barefoot and eat the leaves of some rare plant in order to get it. Also, it is not about placing your booty on the bed and waiting for it to happen. There is a sweet spot between doing something and not doing something. Well, it sounds confusing, right? But after watching this video, all confusion will disappear, like your acquaintance who borrows some money from you and disappears for a few months. Well, all these are jokes, don't focus on them too much, and they will not hamper your assumptions. Focusing on something on a daily basis and becoming persistent in it forms your assumptions. So, you don't need to worry. Also, this video is going to be long, and your undivided attention is required because, while writing this script, I couldn't stop myself from sharing the golden information that is hidden on social media. Now, what was the lie that I was talking about that caught your attention by looking at my thumbnail? Well, there isn't one, but there are two of them. I would rather say that these are some misconceptions that formed over time in the manifestation community. I have been following this community since the end of 2019. After that, it felt like our lives paused and we shifted to a different world. During that time, the law of attraction was quite popular, and the manifestation thing was starting to become popular. Shifting forward a few months, people started reading about this legend, Neville Goddard, and from then on, things started to change. In the manifestation community, some new faces joined and started creating the videos explaining the law. It all made sense to me when I first heard about the law. The law proved itself when I applied the ladder technique that was mentioned in Neville Goddard's book. Did it work for you too? Tell me in the comments section. So, many people used these teachings, and life became smooth. Many creators saw the opportunity and started creating content around Neville Goddard. There were some creators, I will not mention their names. They are the big faces of this community, and from my personal observation, when the law started to work for them, they took out their frustration with the law of attraction by thrashing it. These creators became furious about the law of attraction, and instead of observing the similarities, they were thrashing it like anything. During this time, this misconception about the law began to spread. These are my personal observations regarding the law. You might have different ones, and that's okay. Just listen to them if this makes sense for you. Just don't become furious, as I will give you a very easy explanation. And that too in very simple words that will show you how it all makes sense. So, the first misconception that arose was about ignoring 3D reality. Yes, I know that you have to ignore 3D reality, but people don't even know how to do it. They don't understand what they need to do in order to ignore 3D reality. They keep on saying that they are ignoring 3D reality. But my question is, are you actually ignoring 3D reality? Well, if I asked you to not imagine a mountain, what would come to mind? If I keep on repeating that, you don't have to imagine the mountain. Don't picture the mountain in your mind. Don't visualize the mountain. Tell me, were you able to do it? If my voice is too fast for you, then pause the video and, just for a few seconds, say to yourself, I don't have to imagine a mountain. Just try it. Now, you will recognize that, when you said that you don't have to focus on that thing, this makes you focus even more on that thing. You begin to imagine it more and more. So, when someone tells you to ignore the 3D reality, then, in a way, you focus on the 3D reality even more. This is one simple reason why ignoring 3D reality does not work. Either the communication skills of those creators were poor, or they were not aware of this truth at all. Now comes the second reason. Neville, in his lectures, mentioned, become aware of what you are thinking, and you will recognize a law between your mood and your surrounding circumstances. So, in a way, Neville is telling you that the 3D reality, or your external reality, is a projection of your assumptions. There is a correlation between your mood and your external circumstances. This simply means that 3D reality is a mirror of what is going on inside. So, my question to you is, does ignoring the external reality change your assumptions? Or does forming new assumptions change your external reality? What makes sense for you? Well, the external reality is telling you where you are lacking. Tell me, is it a good thing for you or is it a bad thing for you? In my understanding, 3D reality is your friend, not your enemy. It shows you where you lack, what changes you need to make, and what needs to be done. It tells you where you are focusing the majority of the time. It is telling you about your assumptions. So, instead of blaming the 3D, look at it as your feedback. Take the feedback and change the assumptions within you. Ignoring it will not make you aware of where you are lacking. Now, the third reason is for the people who are finding ways to fully ignore 3D reality. Before sharing, I want to mention that this is my personal understanding. Fully ignoring 3D reality is only possible in two ways: when you die and when you go into deep meditations, when you have the experience that you are neither this body nor this mind. When you sit in meditation and hours feel like minutes, days feel like a few hours. Then you successfully ignore the 3D. And I am damn sure 99% of you don't fall into these two categories. Now, what do you have to do instead? What is on the minds of the people who give you the half information to ignore 3D reality? Well, you have to fill your mind with the idea of already achieving your desire. In Neville's words, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. That is, you must assume the feeling of fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it, and this feeling crowds all other ideas out of your consciousness. You assume by imagining. Imagination is one such tool that lets you form assumptions. Even when a certain event happens, after a few days, you don't fully remember that event. You only remember the assumptions that you formed after that event. Now, when someone asks you about that event, you tell a story, and this story is also based on the previous assumptions that you had after those experiences. After that experience, you imagined that event in many different ways, and that formed your assumptions. So, to form assumptions, imagination is the only tool. You can either visualize, affirm, hear, touch, or feel it within yourself to form these assumptions. Now, ignoring 3D is not what they meant when they told you about this. They failed to communicate that you have to imagine the desired reality multiple times during the day, and for some days, so that your mind is possessed by this idea, or these new assumptions, and previous ideas or assumptions move out of your consciousness. So, just imagine and imagine and imagine, and you will know when to stop. You will stop doing it automatically, and you don't even have to ignore the 3D. Just go within yourself when something bothers you and ask yourself what assumptions are there within you that relate to this situation. When you spend some time and observe yourself, you will definitely find an answer to this question. A previous belief will come into your awareness that will be related to that particular situation that you are trying to ignore in 3D reality. You have to take the feedback, and you have to form new assumptions by imagining a different scenario. This is the only thing that you have to do. Now, as I told you, there are two misconceptions. The second one was formed to catch your attention. This misconception is very common, and I will give you a very simple scenario that will definitely clear up this misconception of yours. You have often heard people tell you that you don't have to take action. I know some of you will be lashing out right now upon hearing this. You would say that actions are not necessary. I agree with you that it is not necessary, but there is a sweet spot between actions and no actions. As I share with you this example, everything will make sense to you. You will know what I am talking about, and you will know what they mean by taking no action. Suppose there is a pretty woman named Linda. Now, Linda has this desire to become a social media influencer. She wants to be famous and wants to become an internet celebrity. So, she starts using the law of assumption. She started assuming herself as a famous and successful internet celebrity. She started creating new assumptions about herself as a famous social media influencer. Now, if someone sits on their couch the whole day and doesn't post anything online, will they be an average content consumer or will they be a famous social media influencer? You have the answer no. A famous internet celebrity has an audience base, they have content. And that's why they are called content creators. They create content on social media on a regular basis, and that is why they are called social media influencers. So, if Linda, despite being so pretty, doesn't post her beautiful pictures and videos on social media platforms, would she be considered a social media influencer? I know, now you are getting my point. You might think that you have to take action. Well, there is a sweet spot. You have to take actions, and you don't have to take actions. Now, what do I mean by this? In simple words, you don't have to take actions based on your current state of consciousness. When you hear someone say that you don't have to take actions, then they are telling you that you don't have to take actions from your present state of consciousness. This means that in your present circumstances, you will think from a place of not having your desire, and your actions will be from a place of not having your desire, so you don't have to take any actions. Are you getting my point? Well, if you didn't get it, then you will know it when you assume the state of wish fulfilled, where your desire has become a reality. When you imagine yourself already having your desires, you enter a certain state of consciousness. This is a state of consciousness where you already have your desire. When you already have your desire, you think from a place of having that desire. And when you think from the place of having your desire, then your actions would be from a place of having that desire. In short, your actions would be successful. Now, I think you got it. Just replay the previous parts of this video again and again, and you will get that clarity. You will know what I am saying. So, when you have successfully imagined and entered this new state of consciousness, you already have your desire. Then, the actions that you take will be automatic and in line with your desired reality. You won't have to motivate yourself to take that action, or you won't have to think about that action numerous times before taking it. You will somehow know that this action is correct, and you will take it without a second thought. Also, this action would be way different than the actions that you used to take before. You will know that you have to take this action, and you will take it. This is the sweet spot between taking and not taking that action. You would act automatically. Your body would tell you to act. Your mind would tell you to act. You just have to go with the flow. Like the surfer rides the wave. You will automatically do it. Don't stop yourself in these moments just because you heard a random Natalie sitting in France telling you not to take any action. You will know exactly what actions you have to take and when you have to take them, and you will not have any second thoughts about them. You will just take them, no ifs, no buts. This will only happen when you change your dominant state. Like Linda, who changed her dominant state by imagining herself as a famous internet celebrity. When she imagines the scenes of going out of her house and people recognizing her and taking pictures with her, she looks at her social media analytics and sees social media influencers collaborating with her. When she lives with such reality in her imagination, she enters a state. Now, when she remains in this state by imagining it again and again, out of the blue, she gets the idea of making a video relating to the dark side of the modeling industry. She shoots that video, and she randomly meets an old friend who just learned how to edit videos. So, as his first project, he takes up Linda's video and makes a beautiful content piece that goes viral, and she starts building an audience base. Now, she gets that movement, and she remains persistent in this new state. She embodies this new identity by imagining, and then she gets another great idea. Now, her action is automatic. She shoots the video, and this video is also liked by her audience, and it goes viral. Like this, she takes action and becomes an internet celebrity. This happened because she changed her state of being. The actions were not forceful, and she got what she wanted, which happened very easily. The example was presented to you to open your eyes and understand what needs to be done. The misconceptions that I shared in this video are real, and to counter them, you only have to do one thing, and that is to imagine the state of the wish fulfilled. You have to imagine already possessing your desire. You have to imagine living the life that you would live once you have that desire manifested in your reality. This is the only solution to any doubt that you face when manifesting. I know this video is long, but I am also sure that it has opened your eyes to new possibilities. Tell me in the comments section if this video made sense for you. Also, use guided meditations. In my opinion, it is the fastest way to enter this new state of consciousness and change your dominant assumptions. For that, I have designed a guided meditation that has given mind-blowing results to my audience. They have even mentioned their success stories in the comments section. You can find this video by clicking on the first video that appears at the end of the screen.